Good afternoon from Yummy B TV. Wishing you all well, sending special love to you on this bank holiday Monday. Get ready for a lively live tonight. I had a bad day yesterday. Leeds got slaughtered at home to Crystal Palace. What a battering. It hurt so bad that I was curled up in bed and went to bed early. Now, this subject coming up now, especially with some of the things I've seen over a long period of time on YouTube, especially when talking about big name criminals or ex criminals or even not so big name criminals, etc. etc. I look back on some of my videos and I realized that I've said a few couple of times things about people without actual getting permission. The other day, I was in the supermarket, big well known crime family. One of them approached me. They said, Yummy. I said, I said, you're right. He said, yeah, listen, I came across one of your videos, right? Came across one, and I said, well, Yummy ain't asked me permission to say those kind of things up there straight away. I was on the defensive because I knew that he was right. I didn't take permission. I normally ask permission of some sorts, if you get what I mean, or say things in a good light without saying nothing too bad, right? I always work it out for myself because you could be confronted by anyone out there, right? And we know that Uncle Yummy's met most of them that he talks about, right? There's people out there that you were on the fringes of the hierarchy, criminal fraternity in the category A's. You never played no part in it. Or even more worse, you never actually met those men, and yet you talk freely about them and say things in derogatories and bad ways a lot of the time, right? So I say, whether it was the dead, rest in peace, because we know there's at least 6, 7, 8 characters that I've spoke about on Yummy B TV that I say rest in peace, right? And I looked at some of those videos and I realised that I don't think I can be accused of talking bad about the dead. In reality, if we're talking about Paul Sykes, Build a Bomb, Wayne Oren, more on him coming soon as well. What was that? The last, there's another one as well. I forgot his name, right? But the 4 or 5 big names that I talk about, I always ask myself, if they was in front of me, would I be able to say what I said in those videos to their faces? And I put my hand on my heart and I say to you, yes, I would. Because as far as I'm concerned, I know the difference between saying something bad, something truthful in the right, but they're not here to defend themselves. It's the last thing I want to do. So I'll beg you, one of you, try and find something that where Uncle Yummy speaks bad of the dead, Pat Tate, etc., etc. More, there's more probably that we're talking about here, right? And I ask myself again, if I meet you outside, right? This happened to me the other day, like I said to you, and I can't. If I think that I can look you in the eye and say, yeah, I would say it. I would say it to your face. It's a big statement to me, but I'm asking some of those out there, could you walk up to some of those men that you talk about and say it to their face? Or some men are never getting out and you take it as an opportunity to slag them off in public with some stuff that Uncle Yummy believes through all my history of being in those places for the times that certain people are talking about in there. You know what I mean? We're talking about Nottingham, London, etc., Leeds, everything, right? You wouldn't be able to say it to their face. So therefore, a man from me says, yeah, but Yummy, my man's not getting out no more, man. He's going to be old and grey and do... You answered the question yourself. So that means you're taking advantage that he could be old and grey when he gets out. He's not going to be the same man, allegedly, apparently, that he ever was. But that's all right then. This is the time to stick your oar in and kick him while he's down. Come on, man. Let's talk the real thought. TA mentioned something to me the other day about this, and you couldn't say it to his face back then. I say to you, right? I say, yeah, I love my man from South London, right? But it pissed me off. It pissed me off. But it doesn't mean that I don't love him. But I asked myself, for the couple of things that I said, I can picture me standing, whether it's on the landing, I'm not looking to go back to prison, I'm going to do a video on that soon. Or if he appeared today in front of me, I would say what I said. And I know what he would say. He would say, yeah, but you was talking to the truth. And you haven't put me in it in any way, in a bad light, or where there's repercussions by the word of my mouth that harm could come to him by what I've said. All right. And the person the other day that confronted me in that supermarket, I asked him, this is them. All right. Twice this happened to me. One of the Arif clan as well, right? The younger ones. They said, Uncle Yami, we love you. You done a couple of videos where you said all the right things and all the truthful things. It goes in one video, you got it completely wrong. And I got that information off someone else when my mind wasn't quite right about the hitman in Albany and blah, 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 and Smitherman, etc., etc. I think we mentioned that. I said, look, do you want me to take that down? Because I can't see now how I put that up, if you get what I mean. He said, no, you do what you want to do, Uncle Yami. But I'm telling you, those bits, and he pointed to some factors, times and dates, and I went, oh, for effing hell's sake. You know what I mean? Which is why now I tread carefully, and I like to make sure that I'm fully 100, especially now when I'm in the best form since I've been out. But the reality of all that talking and everything, right? And I laugh about it, because people do use people's names to get views and that kind of stuff, especially men that you have not met. You haven't met them. You're not equipped to be able to say and talk about. This is what I say. I talk about people's crimes and things that they've been convicted of. People that haven't been convicted of certain things. What is there to talk about? It's not for you to say. We know what there's a couple out there. You want to be playing the crime scenes laboratory, and by going, yeah, I believe he done it. He told me that, and it's definitely him. And well, if you knew that, then how come the police never saw it that way? Mad, isn't it? But you ain't got no permission to go up there and talk, because they're not facts. They're not facts because you haven't been convicted. It's all hearsay, right? But I stand by it, representing the dead as if they were in front of me today. And how I met them and how I knew them, I look at them before I make these kind of talks or say, I look at it as to what I would say is if you was in front of me today. And that's the way that I do most of my videos. Coming up in a little while before the live, the greatest criminal minds that I ever met. Uncle Yami breaks it down clinically about the big five. Loads of love to you all.